Today, I have for you guys 5 different teams that you can use to complete this spider tournament that should be happening by the time you're watching this video. So this spider tournament has some specific requirements. It says raid the spider's den using champions from the Corrupted Alliance for amazing rewards. Now, one thing I want to make super clear. If you are using a solo or duo strategy, which I will show during this video, make sure all the food champions are also from the Corrupted Alliance. So the Corrupted Alliance is right here. We have Demon Spawn, Undead Horde, Dark Elves, and Night Revenants, which works out great for the whole food leveling because you have Diabolist as well as Incubus, which are both the champions that you get from farming Chapter 12. So you should have plenty of those champions. So make sure you're running the correct alliance food, the correct faction food alongside your main solo or duo champions. So what teams are we going to be working with? And then I want to jump in talking about a few other champions in case you don't have these teams. So the first 2 teams I'm going to show are just going to be on stage 20. So stage 20 is going to be the best stage for being efficient, getting good points for the reward you get, not spending a ton of energy, and honestly, being pretty fast. So the first team is going to be Mithrala, Lydia, and 3 Cold Hearts. This honestly will probably be my second option if I was going to do a speed team. Okay, so this team right here is going to be pretty fast. It's not going to be as fast as the Kymar team that I'm about to show. So the sound effects in game might be a little bit loud. Hopefully I can get those turned down. But either way, this team is going to be pretty quick. It's going to have a little bit more RNG because if Lydia doesn't land her decreased defense or weaken, the Cold Hearts are going to have a little bit more difficult time killing the big spider. But we have plenty of extra damage to make this run still relatively quick. It should be under a minute. Should be very high success rate, but it can fail, I imagine, or at least go longer than I would hope for. So the second team, actually this first team, let's show the presets real quick, okay? So the presets for this team are going to be Mithrala, Lydia, Cold Heart, Cold Heart, Cold Heart, all 3 prioritizing the Heartseeker. So we'll save that. In the second team, I'll show you guys all the champion builds after this in just a moment. But this team, the presets for this one are as follows. I want to get into some more free-to-play options in just a minute, but in case you're somebody who wants a really easy team, you probably already have these champions built. Here you go. This team is going to be very smooth, very quick, very efficient because we have Lydia placing the decreased defense and weaken, the Cold Hearts all doing their Heartseekers, and then Kymar coming around, resetting the cooldowns so we can all go in and do it again. Technically, you could use Ghostborn. If you don't need the decreased defense and the weaken, just use Ghostborn. You'll get the decreased defense alone, the increased attack, and that may be all you need. But there you go, 10-second run. That is super quick. Honestly, some runs are going to be super fast. Some runs are going to be a little bit slower. So once we finish this one, it should be like 13 seconds or so. I'll go ahead and jump in showing you guys the gear and then showing you the next few teams that you can consider building. The rest of them are going to be mostly solo and duo content. So here we go. Lydia, she just needs to be faster than Cold Hearts, 256 speed. We have Kymar, he's either faster than Lydia or slower than everybody to reset right at the end, ideally making the fastest in the team. Open with just any ability other than the A3, and then prioritize the A3 ability. Masteries don't really matter on these 2 champions, to be honest, but I'll show them. And then the Cold Hearts. The Cold Hearts gearing, basically get them 70% crit rate, get defense ignore if you can, make them hit really hard, so really high crit damage, and then just turn on the A3 ability, and you should be good. For Masteries, I have Helm Smasher. It's going to do a little bit more damage, a little bit more inconsistent. You can go Flawless Execution for a little more consistency, or even War Master, better yet Giant Slayer, because she does have a multi-hitting A1 ability, which works great for Fire Knight. So all my Cold Hearts builds are going to be very similar. I do have a Cold Heart who's 253 speed, relatively low crit damage, but 100% crit rate. This one's used for the Fire Knight, so this is just the build that I go here. As far as accuracy, shoot for 200, and you should be perfectly fine, okay? You don't really need the turn meter decrease on the stage 20 team with Kymar, but for the other team, you may want the turn meter decrease. We should be perfectly fine even if we don't decrease the turn meter. But either way, very simple build. Mithrala, just good accuracy, good speed, survivability, and you're going to be very solid. So if you have some Cold Hearts, some Kymars, Lydia, and Mithrala, you can build either one of those teams. Now, if you want to find a team that's a bit more accessible, let's talk about a few other champions, okay? So as you know, I'm a big fan of doing solo and duo content. And lucky for us, the Demon Spawn faction specifically, but honestly, all the Corrupted Alliance faction in general is very good for solo and duo champions. Actually, Undead Horde has one of my favorite champions in Crypt King Grawl. So we'll start off with the duo, all right? So duo stage 25. This is a very solid team, and it was running at 99% success rate. So we got Big Tyraka right behind me, but 99 out of 100 matches. I'm going to leave this match or this team linked down below. If you guys want to watch that video, it's going to go into the exact stats, the exact breakdown that you will need for this team. But basically, you're using Akoth plus Achak. So Achak is going to freeze the spiders. Akoth is going to do the HP burn, and you're going to have a almost 100% win rate, which is fantastic. A minute 56 average, so about 2 minutes on average, stage 25. If you're looking to farm one of those higher stages, this is going to be an excellent team to go with. So like I said, I'll leave all these linked down below. The next one is Crypt King Grawl soloing stage 24 of Spider. This one has a 98% success rate. It is a minute 27, so a minute half on average, and it's Crypt King Grawl doing it by himself. So very nice setup there as well. So Crypt King Grawl soloing stage 24. The next one is going to be Crypt King Grawl soloing stage 20. The biggest difference here, obviously, is a lot easier gear requirements. So we have regeneration plus some perception. And once again, I'll leave this video linked down below. And it includes a special side of me with no hat on, which is a very odd sighting. But either way, let's go into the next one. So the next champion is going to be Tyrant Ixelmore, soloing stage 20 of Spider. Stage 24 was a little too difficult. I wasn't able to get it to run 100% success rate, I don't think. But 2 minutes average runtime. It is a 100% success rate. And I tested this many times because I show a few other screenshots in this video that are not 100% success. Okay, so 60 out of 63, I didn't like that. I show several different ones, like I said, but finally got the correct build, 100% success, and I'm a big fan of this build right here. Not that one. Big fan of the one that was, actually 100% success rate. So like I said, I'll leave this video linked down below as well. And let's talk about a few of the other champions, okay? So maybe you don't have Crypt King Grawl, you don't have Tyrant Ixelmore, you don't have all those champions I talked about, Akoth and Achak, which Akoth is a free champion, so hopefully you guys do have him from Doom Tower. But if you don't have these champions, let's talk about a few of the other ones that could be standout mentions in these factions. So you have Drexthar. Drexthar is very good, especially on stages where he's weak affinity, which sounds a little bit weird, but he can be an excellent tank for the Spiderlings. So basically, put him in there, high HP, good resistance, good accuracy, good defense. The Spiderlings are going to attack him, have a chance to be burned, and he's just going to take all the little Spiderlings onto himself. Also, a free champion, so a very solid option. We also have Sishia, obviously an amazing champion for all of this stuff. And then we have Skimfos, very solid champion as well. If you don't have a Cold Heart, bring him in. Transfers all debuffs, which isn't a huge deal, but basically the main part of his kit that I'm worried about is steals 100% of the target's turn meter if this attack is critical. Now, it does need to have a 100% crit rate, so make sure you're built with a 100% crit rate. Big turn meter steal there. Also a chance to place decreased speed on the A1 ability. So a very, very good champion for that turn meter manipulation on Spider if you don't have a champion like Cold Heart, which makes it pretty difficult. I know I went a long time without having any Cold Hearts. So plenty of HP burners. Akoth, Drexthar, Tyrant, Sishia, a lot of HP burn champions just in Demon Spawn. Moving to Undead Horde, we have Crypt King Grawl, the MVP of a lot of Spider stuff in general. Outside the legendary stuff though, we don't really have a ton. Husk may get a little bit of use in these runs, but in general, you may get some turn meter boosting. Overall, we don't have any massive HP burn, big turn meter reduction champions, big max HP champions that I would really be excited to use. We got some turn meter boosting stuff, so on and so forth. But honestly, the Undead Horde have a few massive powerhouse champions like Crypt King Grawl. And then outside that, for Spider specifically, it's going to be a little bit of mixing with other factions as well. Next one, Dark Elves. So Dark Elves is a faction that has a lot of really good champions as well. Lydia, obviously she was using a few of my teams. Ghostborn works excellent for consistency. Mithrala and Visix both are nice. Mithrala better for speed teams. Actually, she's really good for survivability as well if you have more of a sustaining team. Visix also for a sustaining team. She has a decreased speed AoE. She has that provoke, which can help deal with the Spiderlings, and A1 that has a chance to decrease in the turn meter. So also a very solid option if you're trying to do more of the slow and steady approach to Spider. Now, as far as the epics go, Sylar is a very solid champion. She has a pretty decent turn meter decrease as well as a decreased speed AoE. This isn't going to be super consistent, so you will need to bring additional turn meter manipulation on the team. But if you're looking for somebody to manipulate the turn meter, Sylar is an excellent option. She's also good in other areas of the game, but for this event specifically, she can be a good option for you. Now, obviously, at the very bottom here, we have probably the MVP of all of this, Cold Heart. So Cold Heart brings that massive A3 ability, big turn meter decrease, excellent for stage 20 of Spider, which is what I will be farming. Very efficient as far as your energy expenditure versus the tournament points. So Cold Heart, excellent, excellent option. Now, as far as all these champions go, I think those are the main standout mentions. There's a few in here. If you guys notice that I've missed anything that's like super obvious, definitely let me know down below. But in general, I think those are the main ones you're going to be looking at. The next faction we're going to talk about is the Night Revenants. Now, honestly, I feel like the Night Revs kind of don't have as many amazing options. Like, I feel like most of these champions, you could fit them into a team, but they're not going to be like carrying the team like some of the other factions would, Demon Spawn especially, but even Dark Elves having Cold Heart. The Night Revs don't have any champions that are like, okay, this champion's definitely going to make it into your team. They have a few that have some pretty nice features in their kit, like Tomb Lord. I mean, he has a decreased speed on the A1 ability, also some decreased turn meter, but it's conditional on the A3. You have Theodore, who can do some activations of poisons and HP burns, so, and as well as the decreased speed also. But in general, I feel like this faction isn't fantastic for Spider. I could be wrong. I definitely could be overlooking somebody. But the main thing is honestly, this tournament, you can get by with just the free champions from Doom Tower. If you have Akoth, you can build a team. If you have Akoth, you can build a relatively fast team, sub 2 minutes, relatively easy. Just build some tanks around him, put some turn meter decrease, whether it's Skimfos, Cold Heart, whatever it may be, and then just kind of wait it out. Let the Spiderlings burn themselves, and you're going to be good to go. Add in some decreased speed champions, and you got yourself a pretty solid stage 20 Spider team. I mean, stage 20 is Spirit Affinity, so Akoth is going to be strong, going to get weak hits on him. You bring a champion like Drexstar, build him tanky, and now you have 2 HP burn champions, 1 tanky to take everybody, and then 1 champion who's just going to place the burns, very sustainable. And there you go. Very solid team, but hopefully that helps you out, guys. Hopefully the rewards are pretty nice. Obviously making this video before the tournament actually goes live, so I have no clue how the rewards are going to be. But you're going to be getting these rewards, which I assume are going to be decent at least, and you're also going to be getting the rewards from this Dungeon Diver event, which has some pretty nice things. Greater oil, superior oil, things you definitely want to be on the lookout for and picking up whenever you can. So guys, with that said, don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all in the next video.